Okay, good morning. We've got a special announcement here today at Kansas Speedway, and we're pleased to have this announcement here in the home state of Clint Bowyer, driver of the number 15 Cherry 5-hour Energy Toyota. And he's joined up on the dais by Scott Henderson, who is the president of 5-hour Energy. He's also joined up here by Vice Admiral Joe McGuire and Matty Vos on behalf of Special Operations Warrior Foundation. And we appreciate you folks being up here today and what you all do, not only for the sport of NASCAR, but for our country. And we really appreciate y'all taking the time out to be here today. And we appreciate the media being here today, too. It's a good crowd here in the Media Center at Kansas. Clint Bowyer, I just had a chance to catch up with you. You've had a lot going on the last few weeks, but driver of the number 15 5-hour Energy Cherry Toyota. You've got homecoming here. You've been over in Emporia. You've got so many things going on. Race sponsorship tomorrow night. You've got a extension to your contract. And oh, by the way, some changes in your family situation for the better.
Yes, growing, literally.
I highly endorse fatherhood. Highly endorse it. Marriage first and then fatherhood, so that's good. But let's talk a little bit about Clint, about everything that's going on. Yeah, everything that's going on in your with your race team and all the news that's going on, and then some of the fine folks that are up here today. Yeah,
it's been a hell of a week. We've had a lot of fun. Coming back to Kansas first and foremost is always big for me. Spent a lot of time with the sprint folks. Kimberly Kuhn, Miss Sprint Cup, and I actually went to the old high school. Last time I left there was in 1998, a free man. And I went back, and it was so fun to talk to, the students. And it's really probably the hardest thing I've ever done because, I remember when I was a senior in high school, you're not a kid anymore. You don't want to be talked down to. And you hear all those people come in and tell you all these stats and everything. And I was that guy. I couldn't help it. I was like, trust me, kids, I know this. I've lived it, don't screw up and listen to us. So really strong message with Sprint about no texting and driving, a situation that wasn't even around, when I was in high school. Signed autographs at the dealership, and then I've been here. And all the announcements that happen. First, you go in and you're so nervous. You're going to see your child for the first time in one of those pictures, and I didn't know what it was, and everybody's like, what do you think it is? What do you think it is? And it's he. So I was super pumped about that, and then announced that his father will have a job for the next few years. was even better. So yeah, so it's pretty good week for me and a little man already. We're rolling. So being back home, announcing again, another announcement of being here, around this sport for 300 starts is a milestone and an accomplishment. And, people always ask you, what do you think about that? And, as the racer, and you don't really know what to think. It doesn't even register. And then you get to thinking, it does mean something to be around this sport for 300 starts and announce that you're going to be around for a lot more starts is pretty special. So it's weird, kind of eerie that it all comes down to Kansas Speedway. Last race before the cutoff to get into the All-Star race, and all the stars are aligning. So it's been a good week. Got a lot of great announcements. Cherry, new flavor, on board of our race car for the first time. 5-hour Energy, forgot about this. Big race weekend at Kansas. Everybody been doing a lot of radio announcements and things like that. A lot of interviews this week and talk, about the night race, the first ever night race right here at Kansas. Everybody's super pumped up about it. The fans are all excited, and we are too. Night race is always, extra exciting for our sport, and looking forward to getting out here and getting this Cherry 5-hour Energy Toyota up there in Victory Lane. So obviously a part of that, I want to introduce Scott Henderson, the president of 5-hour. Every year, they come to us and allow our race team and MWR to be a part of this and raise money for a lot of different causes, and it's super cool to be a part of that. And the Special Operations Warrior Foundation is another prime example of that. So Scott, why don't you talk
Okay.
about that.
Well, it's a big weekend for 5 Hour Energy also because this is a race we're sponsoring. We don't do that very often. The stars align there. Clint's 300 start. The first night race here, I'm actually a fan of night racing, so I can't wait to see what it looks like tomorrow night. This is a great track. And then for us, we're really fortunate to have a new product that we've launched just now, and it'll run through 4th of July, and we're supporting the Special Operations Warrior Foundation, which is a big deal. They provide scholarships for all the children of fallen soldiers and special ops across all the different branches, and they also provide financial aid and counseling. It's not a very well-known foundation compared to some of the other ones out there, but you know, we looked around and these guys are top-notch. They spend 95 cents on every dollar raised, I think 95 plus, which is very rare for a charity. These guys are very efficient, and you really can't beat the cause that they have. We have a commercial. I think we're going to show the commercial, and then we'll turn it over to Joe.
The Special Operations Warrior Foundation stepped in to help.
Now you can help too. Purchase new Cherry 5-Hour Energy now to July 31st. And a portion of each sale benefits Special Operations Warrior Foundation to help families of fallen heroes.
I will always miss my dad, but thanks to Special Operations Warrior Foundation, I will never feel alone.
And Joe could tell you more about special ops than I ever could. He's the main guy there.
Well, thank you, Scott and Clint and everyone here. I want to just, start off by saying thank you so much for your support and also for the media folks being here because we really do need it. And Scott mentioned that we have about 95 cents out of every dollar goes to the scholarship program. So our administrative overhead is 4.9%, so we don't do any advertising. We rely on the generosity of folks like 5 Hour Energy and other folks, and we really do need your help. Since this war started, we've had 589 special operators who have given their lives to their country, leaving 635 children to go to college. We have 120 children in college right now, and we have 600 and some odd children yet to send, so we really can't do it alone. We've got a small foundation, and what we do is we provide all college scholarships, tuition, books, fees, as Scott said, for everyone in special operations. So that's just not your Green Berets, not just your Rangers, not just your SEALs, but anybody who's in the United States Special Operations Command, the mechanics, the intelligence folks, and everybody else. If you're on the team, you're on the team. Just like when it comes to putting that car on the track, you've got the guy who drives it, but without the folks in the pit crew and everybody else, it just makes it happen. So everybody's on that team. And we provide, if you give your life in service of your country, then we take care of you. Our thought is this, that no child in America should be financially disadvantaged because his or her father gave his life in service of his country. So we send every one of those children of the fallen to school, but we could not do it without you. So I want to thank you, Scott, and you, Clint, and everybody else out here. And the thing is, I could talk all day long, but I really don't have a whole lot of credibility. I'm just some old retired SEAL admiral. But I've got somebody here who'd like to talk to you a little bit about her journey and what the Special Operations Warrior Foundation meant to her life. So, Maddie?
Hello, my name's Maddie. I'm a college recipient for Special Operations Warrior Foundation. I received their scholarship, but I just graduated with my bachelor's in anthropology cum laude, and I don't think I would have been able to do it without the assistance of Special Operations Warrior Foundation, not just financially, but also emotionally. They've got some counselors on their team, and I call them all the time, and they just have been very helpful for me, and I'm very, very thankful that they exist, because without them, I don't think I'd be at the point I am right now in my life. So,
Where did you graduate from?
University of Central Florida, and I'm going on to get my master's at University of West Florida.
Quarterback that drafted, huh?
What was that?
Just had a quarterback that drafted last.
Oh yeah, yep. So,
Okay, thank you so much, Maddie, and Joe and Scott and Clint. A terrific announcement here today. Terrific sponsorship. 5 Hour Energy is unbelievable. And we thank you for all you do for the sport, and to tie it in with the Special Operations Warrior Foundation, and to hear a young lady like Maddie talk about that, it puts things in perspective. And we thank you all very, very much for that. Clint Bowyer, we know where your heart is, so we thank you very much for that. Okay. Okay, we'll take a few questions. Certainly, there's a lot to digest here. We don't have a whole lot of time, but we'll take a few questions. If you have one, raise your hand. And Claire?
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Scott, I want to ask you, 5 Hour Energy has had a successful program. What has NASCAR done for 5 Hour Energy? What's the payback, both for the race team and for the race sponsorship for 5 Hour? What have you reaped from it?
I think anytime you do sponsorships, it can be difficult to measure, and there's a lot of other people out there that'll help you do that. We get a few things from it. One is TV coverage, and I think if you look to Joyce Julius or something like that, they'll tell you the TV coverage we get is 10 to 100 times what we spend. That does can be a little inflated, but still it's a great number. Second to that is the retailer support. We put retailers on the TV panel of the cars, and we do that in exchange for special retail sales, placement in the aisles and end caps and things like that. And we believe that alone pays for our sponsorship. And then we also use this as a big hospitality vehicle to thank our retailers and bring them out to the races and give them a chance to see races in a way that the average fan can't do. And Clint's awesome. I mean, Clint, we have a contract. I don't think we ever pull it out because whatever he has to do, above and beyond that, and that to me it's really special. I tell a story a couple years ago down at Daytona 500. Clint came over during the nationwide race and sat in our hospitality rig and watched the whole race with our customers, and he didn't have to do that, and that's a story that those people tell forever.
Stan?
Stan Creekmore with RPMTonight.com. Clint, I've seen a lot of drivers from young age come up, and it's all about driving. At what point in your career did you discover, and what did it mean to you, that it's so much, that 400 laps is important, but everything else is equally as important in your life?
Well, that's just it. It is all about driving. That's what we're in the business of doing, racing these cars and racing them fast and having your sponsors up front. But if you're going to keep those sponsors, you better be building relationships with them. And Scott and Risa, Mike, her husband, I mean, these are the people that run 5 Hour. They come, they call, text you on the phone. You know them. You know your families. And that's the kind of relationship it takes to not only have success on the racetrack, but have success off the racetrack. You got to understand what their needs are and to be able to help them. And the only way you can do that is if you have a true relationship with them where, if they lean on you to do something or vice versa, you need some more out of them. You got to be able to get to the bottom of it, cut to the chase, and not have to, just tell it how it is and go on to take care of business. And I do believe that interaction with the fans, you've got to be able to, to do it all. You've got to go to these racetracks. Pat Warren, at Kansas Speedway, we do so much together, and he hopefully gets something out of it. I know I do. Every time we do an interview or anything like this, it's easy to talk about Kansas Speedway because I'm from here, but I'm proud of this racetrack. I drove by here on the way to Lakeside and saw what this area was. It was a bad part of town, and now it's one of the nicest parts of town Kansas City has to offer. So you do have to be a part of it. If you want to be a part of this sport, you better get a mitt and get in the game. If not, somebody else will find that for you.
Got time for maybe a couple more. Need 2 more questions. Anybody? For any of our folks up here? Randy?
Clint, it's Mother's Day weekend, and your mom gets to have a home race. We know about NASCAR dads. What about NASCAR moms? What would your mom mean to you from Lakeside all the way up to today?
They're every bit as tough as a NASCAR dad, I can promise you that. She'll be over to chew my butt faster than he will, or tell you, or anything else. Pat knows that. She's always bending on somebody's ear, but it really is cool. It's a big weekend for Mother's Day. She's meant a lot to us. Thinking back to the early motocross days and stuff, having 3 kids racing and getting everything. Ready for us. I mean, racing is a family sport. It always has been for us, and it is today, and it's pretty cool. They asked her, Risa and everybody sponsoring the race asked her to wave the green flag. So we are pretty close family, so we've all been kind of, ragging on her a little bit. Don't drop the flag, Mom. Just whatever you do, do not drop the flag. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I hope there's not a caution.
Final, well, we'll take two more. Gentleman right there, and then we'll end with Chris. Go ahead.
Kirk Elliott, Sports Radio 810 WHB, Racing Boys. Clint, you had a great weekend last week. Thing coming into Kansas Speedway, obviously doesn't need to be said how big a win this would be. Just kind of assess your season so far, just how you think things have gone, and where you're going from here.
I think Daytona kind of says how our season when we started with a barrel roll. Flipped on the front straight at the end of the race, and then the very next attempt, the engine blew up halfway through the race. I'm like, well, can we skip this year? This is not starting very good. But, last weekend at Talladega, a lot of good news, a lot of good momentum and mojo around our 15 team, and it couldn't come at a better time. Rolling into home at Kansas Speedway, sponsors race, and the last race before the All-Star race. We've had some shots at it. Martinsville, California, Texas, we were running good. If we can get all of the race put together and close, I think we can have a shot at it. I really do.
Final question, Chris?
Chris Knight, CatchRuns.com. Clint, just wondering for your new addition if it's going to be a Clint Jr.
No juniors. Can't have juniors. Not. But no, I'm really looking forward to it. That's the question right now. Everybody you talk to, what are you going to name him? And I'm scrambling right now. But really excited about having a boy. Casey brought in nieces and nephews to our family a few years ago, and ever since then, Laura and I are like, we got to have one soon. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for writing about our sport, and more importantly, grab one of these Cherry 5-Hour Energies. It's a new product. They're good. They're proud of them. We're all proud of them, and more importantly, make sure you drink one before you write about that Special Ops Warrior Foundation story. Thank you.
Thank you.